Hi, what is up guys? JaretCampisi. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Ducati Santa Barbara and the Streetfighter build series. Today we're going to be doing nickel-plated Brembo calipers on the front along with a new rear brake, a new rear rotor from braking, and it's going to be a good episode. Sit back, relax, enjoy the video. Alright, so here's what's on the docket for today. You guys saw the Brembo nickel-plated calipers in the last episode. Absolutely stunning. We're going to be using those today. This is the part we were missing. So on the front, the one on the right hand side is a double banjo bolt. So this is what we needed. And we got two of those. Manny sent these over ASAP. It's gonna look really, really good. And on the rear brake, we're gonna use the new rotor. Should save some weight and look a lot better than the stock one. And then we also have the black Ducati axle nut as well. Don't forget, Manny at Moto Million, if you want any of these parts, you can use code Campisi to save yourself some money. And let's get started. Also, I've said this a million times, but you know, the way that I'm able to give these bikes away is through a website called Patreon. People support over there. They're community funded builds, and then that's why we give them away back to the community when we're done. If you're interested in reading how it works, you know, helping to support the project and being entered to win this bike, check out the website patreon.com/Campisi Customs. It's always the first link in the description below. That's how we do these builds. Okay, so first of all, I apologize if you hear fan or wind noise in the background. It's like 90 degrees in Santa Barbara, which doesn't happen very often. So what we're doing here, Rory covered everything up. He clamped off the reservoir line up top there. And next thing he's gonna do is break loose the calipers.
Yeah, we just talked about the sequence we want to do. We're breaking these loose really quick. And then I'm gonna break this loose.
Yeah.
Right, now I'm gonna do it by hand. And I'll take this off and swap over quickly that was off. Okay, and we're also gonna move the spacers over onto the other side because Manny told us to do that because it actually provides a little bit more space here and a little bit more airflow for the calipers. All right, bolts from the calipers coming out. And we'll see what happens here. And grab that water.
All right, pulling the caliper off. We also have some water standing by. I know it looks blue, but it's just because of how the bottle looks. Just in case any of the brake fluid gets on anything, spray it quickly and wipe it off. All right, caliper is off. Immediately he's pulling it up high to help keep that brake fluid from flying out. What are you doing next?
I'll pop the banjo.
Pop the banjo. That sounds like a country song. Country song. Pop the banjo, but a band in the do. So look at that. So he just pulled the caliper off. I wish it would focus. And there's been like 1 or 2 drips. That's it, and that's because he has it clamped off up here, so it can't go anywhere. It's kind of like when you take a straw and pull water out, and you hold the top of the straw, and the water doesn't fall out, right? Exact same thing. Yeah. So pretty cool little trick there. All right, so new banjo bolt swapped over. He put new crush washers on the top and bottom of both of them. And now we're attaching to the caliper. Okay, so as it turns out, ran into a bit of an issue. As you can see here, the lines are rubbing against the tire. And if you pull them out, there's just not enough room to really get them to work properly. We would need different connectors here. Basically, we need to order all new brake lines for the system just to use these brakes. And I just don't think that it's worth it. And it would be the same deal on this side as well. We'd have to do some pretty crazy stuff to, we would need new brake lines basically. So I think for now we're gonna take these off and put the old calipers back on. Maybe I'll look into getting some brake lines if we wanna use them, but they're not gonna work with these lines, unfortunately. So yeah, the V4 Panigale actually has some different connectors on the lines, and you can actually make them work, which is what Manny was going off of. But unfortunately, these connectors are different. So the one good thing of good news in all of this is we did need to take the calipers off anyway to swap the spacers over from this side to that side. It actually does look pretty damn nice right there, and you can see that it does provide a little bit more space. So hopefully it'll provide a little bit more cooling to the Stelima calipers. And honestly, there was nothing wrong with these brakes anyway. But again, on these builds, we try to go above and beyond. So if we could have used them, I would have. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll get some lines made. I don't know. That'd be quite a bit of work though. We'd have to take everything back apart, which we probably will anyway once we get all the carbon. So yeah. Okay, and then just doing the same thing over here. Pulled the calipers off, swapped the spacers over to the other side, and now he's just torquing them back down, and then he's got to bleed the whole system all over.
I'm delighted. I'm just so happy with it. I need to practice.
Hey, Yeah, at least
I need the brakes.
At least we got brakes that work, you know?
That's on the back side of the bleeding machine, it blows up air, so it's nice. It's positive. The glass is half full.
All right, so we just finished up re-bleeding the front brakes, and it looks like it all went well. Barely lost any fluid at all, so it was mainly just getting the air out of the system, and we should be good to go now.
So making sure we get the required number of air bubbles in here.
The proper number? Yeah. The proper number of air bubbles?
Is that right?
Yeah. Very nice. Okay, so we actually flipped the bike around. He put it in the front, and he actually strapped it in. The reason he strapped it in is because we are going to eventually jack the bike up from the engine after we break this loose. So we just put a tiny bit of tension on there. We're going to break this guy loose, and then eventually the whole wheel's got to come off. Then actually, in order to get to these bolts way back in there, this entire assembly has to come off too. Had I known that, we probably would have done that.
We did.
When yeah, I guess we did know it, but we had.
We talked about it.
Yeah, we had other stuff that we wanted to do. I wanted to do a whole episode just on braking, which didn't end up working out. But hey, that's what happens. Try to plan videos.
Hollywood.
It all, you know.
It happens in movies.
Things all change. So yeah, we're just gonna break this bad boy loose and then jack it up, get the tire off. All right, wheel coming off. Good thing it's nice and light. Look at all that assembly stuff for the hub. Now we got access on this side. Now we gotta get access from the other side. So actually, next thing we're gonna do is remove the caliper.
I was telling Zulu there, right? I've done it before. I was cranking on one of these to try to get out and realized that the caliper was still on there.
It does kind of, like, you don't even notice that it's on there. The way that it's routed.
Focus on doing that.
Yeah, on that. Such a weird thing, and these look like medieval torture devices here. So wild, man. All right, caliper off.
I don't worry about hitting anything.
And out of the way. Very nice. Actually, the bike looks really cool like this. Look at that. It almost looks like a futuristic, like a hover bike or something. I don't know. Pretty wild, man. All right, got the axle nut off the other side here. He used this guy to make sure that it didn't scratch this thing up. It's perfect. Nice little trick. And then the other thing he did is mark the chain tension. That way he doesn't have to re-find it again. He'll be ready to go once we put it back together. Laziness makes you come up with good ideas. All right, got the chain off.
Again.
Pulled the hub off. I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. What, and now you gotta...
Just gently tap through.
Oh, take it all the way out. That's how you get access to the... Ah. Freaking insane, dude. That
Otherwise
is...
you can't get those nuts.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. All right, so how do you keep this from... I guess these don't have a lot of tension, huh?
No.
So you just put a towel around that, hold it down, and break them all loose?
Yeah. It's got it's Loctite more than anything.
So you're taking this off first, and then you take... Oh, okay, because it's in the way. Oh, yeah, no, I see it.
I have to put
it attaches to it. I got it. Over top. Yeah. Okay, we'll let him do his thing. Okay, now he's got impact gun. Let's pull him right out like that. Perfect. All right, before we swap these over, I figured I'd weigh them, see what kind of weight savings we got here. So, bang on 2.5 pounds for the stock one. And then it looks like 2 pounds for the aftermarket one. So, saved half a pound, we'll take it. All right, what are we doing here, Rory?
Just spraying down the disc with brake cleaner. Mm-hmm. It's something which I learned in BMW years and years ago. They sometimes come with a coating on them. Oh. And if you don't get it off, then you can glaze the disc.
Glaze the disc?
Yeah, so it's just...
So they say? Yeah. Not the good type of disc glazing?
No, it's prudent. No, it doesn't hurt anything. It's easy to do.
Yeah.
And...
I would have never even thought to do that.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm a thinking man.
A tip from your Uncle Rory. Another thing to note, there is an arrow on this, so they are directional. And basically, if you look at it, this thing's gonna pick up and slide in there, so the arrow is pointing down, which is the way that the wheel is gonna rotate, if that makes sense. You'll see it when it's on the bike. Re-Loctiting all of these bolts as well with the red Loctite. Is that the highest vibration Loctite?
Well, green is. But
oh, green is? Okay.
Yeah, we don't.
Don't use green on that?
Yeah, fuck that. Green's like super glue. Look JB well.
And then, do you have any idea what the torque specs are on these? You gotta look it up still.
Yeah, 30 I believe.
30? Okay. We'll look it up to make sure.
I did.
Oh, you already did? Okay. Cool. Okay, so we hand tighten them down and then put it in a rice Vice.
Vice.
Put it in a vise to use the torque wrench on them and get it to, what was it again? 30 Newton meters.
Yes, give me speed. It's just,
all right.
it's a sensor.
Attaching the phonic ring, as Rory called it. I called it an ABS ring, speed sensor ring.
Well, yeah, so much is reading depending on it, right? It's just, it's what relates the rear wheel to everything else.
The ECU and front wheel.
So it's not specific ABS, right?
Yeah, that's true. Could be traction control, could
speed,
be wheel,
yeah, everything. It's, that's why, hence the phonic ring.
Phonic ring.
A Hall effect sensor, I believe.
You heard it here first. I've never heard that term before. All right, what do you want to mention, Roy?
On all Ducati single side swing arms, it's actually a serviceable item. There's one plain bearing and 2 needle bearings in here, so over time they do wear out. Yeah, so it's a really good idea to go in there and replace them with service this whole area. So there's 2 needle bearings in here to sleeve, and there's 1 regular bearing. You can get the bearing from Ducati, but it's really expensive. We'll go SKF or NGK. I think, or SKF, they make them. And you'll feel it when the bike starts to get a bit funny and get really sloppy. If your chain is too tight, it starts to affect it over the years differently. So if you have an older single side swing arm Ducati, and if you don't know why the back end feels funny, chances are it's the bearing. Interesting. This is constantly moving.
Interesting, yeah. My dad actually had to have his bearings replaced on his Diablo that I got him because I think the chain tension was off.
Exactly. It tracks it. That's why there's needles on this side.
It was expensive too.
Yeah. The bearings are expensive, except you get them from SKF, they're a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Sorry to get it. It's the truth.
Yeah. All right, slide it back on in here. So cool, all those little teeth right there.
Splines.
That's wild. Splines. That's what I meant to say. I was gonna say that. He's gonna put on the rear brake caliper. He's not torquing it down yet, just kind of putting it on to get it in the right position.
Just to stop the spindle from moving around.
Yeah. Makes sense. All right, putting the sprocket and carrier back on, and putting the chain back on, and the rear axle nut, and then we can adjust the chain tension. Gosh.
You say fucking taint, I'm moving.
So we just pulled it right back to his mark, and now he knows it's exactly as tight as it was before, and we're good to go there.
We did torque the
oh yeah, we torqued the rear brake before we put that on. Yeah,
so
that way the chain
can get in the way.
Yeah, that way things aren't in the way. So freaking cool looking. So this rotor looks really cool. Not only does it look cool, obviously it's lighter, and I believe it's also designed to dissipate heat a little bit better as well. Rear tire going back on. Rear wheel, yeah. Wheel and tire. I guess you couldn't put a tire on without a wheel, huh?
You can. I do not recommend it.
It looks so freaking awesome. I love these BST Rapid wheels. I think they're my favorite wheel of all time, the carbon wheels. Looks so good. So Rory had a good point. Since we're replacing this with the new nut, it's all in one, so it's a little bit lighter probably. See how this like comes apart and has all these different pieces to it? And this is, I believe, metal, and that's anodized aluminum probably. Let's look and see what the weight is. So that's ½ a pound for the old one. Okay, and the new one's on there, and that one's like, I mean, maybe a quarter pound. So yeah, so maybe you save a quarter pound, something like that.
Between that and the
oh yeah, plus that, so that's a pound and a quarter. Oh no, that was a ½ a pound. Yeah. So there you go, 3/4 pound with the new rear brake and
sounds like McDonald's.
Ducati. Yeah, sounds like we're at McDonald's now.
3/4 pound.
3/4 pound, baby. So there you go. All right, look at this, guys. Jaret Bear's doing something.
Yeah, I was a bit worried about that.
I'm putting a nut on. If the wheel falls off, you know who to blame. It's a small part, guys, but tell me that doesn't look way better. That is super cool. Special parts on there, Ducati. That is, and it even tells you the Newton meter, 220 right on the nut. Yeah, that's actually a really cool little thing that they do. I really like Ducati a lot. Look at that, so much better. That looks badass. Hell yeah. All right, so we got the bike off the lift. I'm gonna give it to Uncle Rory. He's gonna take it around the block, make sure the front and rear brake are working correctly. Let's hear that baby purr. Oh yeah! I really like that helmet he's got on. You hear that freaking thing, dude? Oh my god. By the way, Ducati shop is open. We got bikes here. The doors are open. Actually, the inside looks incredible. I'll show you guys the showroom real quick. Look at this. It's all open and beautiful in here. Scramblers. I think they got 10 more bikes arriving later this week. Once again, if you're interested, hit them up. Tell them I sent you, and don't wait because they're going to sell very, very fast. How's it feel? Yeah. Dude, that thing sounds so good, like against the highway, like the cement. Whoo! It pops. You hear that thing popping? Oh my god. So everything feels good?
It feels better with the dork helmet.
With the dork helmet?
Yeah.
No, I actually like that helmet. It looks cool on there. Sweet. So we're all good to go? Everything's working properly?
Yeah,
okay.
It's good.
It stops. That's good. I'm actually just going to move it over there and take some photos. But I think that's going to do it for this video. So shout out to Manny from Moto Million for the parts that we installed today. Again, you guys can always use code Campisi, save yourself some money on anything you order. Keep in mind, he is down about 7 employees right now because of COVID, so things might take a little bit longer. So just be aware if you order some stuff or it takes long for him to get back to you, just bear with him. It's tough times for everybody. We're waiting on parts. It's just kind of one of those things, and that's kind of, we're just at the mercy of, you know, manufacturers being able to produce parts right now, really. Also, there's gonna be a massive, massive surprise coming, I think next video. So stay tuned for that. I think you guys are gonna be really, really excited. I can't wait to share it with you guys. Something we've never done before with a build, and I think it's gonna be super, super cool. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you wanna be entered to win this bike, check out the Patreon page. If you want to pick up a new Ducati motorcycle or you need service done, check out Ducati Santa Barbara. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. You hear that freaking thing, dude? Oh my god.